17 years. That's how long it'll take my credit card to pay itself off. If I do everything right, every month, exactly like the statement tells me to. I found the same design number on my student loans. On a couch, I split into 4 payments. On my own retirement account, the one I set myself, this is the payment that isn't one.
The statement is already open on the counter, not the phone. The actual paper one, because this month it came in the mail by mistake and I never opened mail like this, but I opened this one. Minimum payment due, $35. There's a box around it. Somebody designed a box around it. I look at the balance above it. Then back at the $35. Then I do something I have never once done in 11 years of paying this card. I get a pen. I write $35 next to the balance and I try to make the math make sense in my head, and it won't. So I write it out by hand, like a kid checking a word problem. The balance barely moves. I check it again. I must have written something wrong. I didn't write anything wrong. Interest took almost all of it. The $35 I sent, the number in the box, the number that felt like doing the responsible thing, mostly went to keep the balance exactly where the bank needs it to stay. Not gone. Kept. I sit with that for a second longer than I want to. And then I do something dumber. I open the calculator app and start subtracting. Balance minus $35, add the interest back, minus $35 again. Over and over, trying to find the month this actually ends. I lose count somewhere past month 40 and do the math for the rate instead. 17 years. I laugh. Out loud, alone in my kitchen, because it sounds like a typo. 17 years to pay off a balance that used to be a couch, and 2 bad weeks of ordering food I don't remember eating. I run it again, thinking I fat-fingered something. 17 years. Nobody printed that number on the statement. The statement printed $35, and $35 felt like an amount a person could live with. 17 years is the number they leave for you to find yourself, if you ever bother. I never had. So I go looking for why. Turns out the interest isn't calculated once a month, on the day the bill shows up, the way I'd always pictured it. It's calculated every single day, off whatever the balance happened to be that day, then totaled at the end of the cycle. There's a name for it, average daily balance. And the name had been sitting in the fine print the entire time, in the part I have never once read. Which means the date I pay doesn't just matter for next month, it matters for every day between now and then. I pull an actual calendar off the fridge, magnet, paper, the kind you write on, and start counting the days between when my statement closes and when it's technically due. 21 days. 21 days where the balance sits exactly where it was, quietly costing me something before my $35 ever touches it. I hadn't been doing anything wrong for 11 years. I'd just never known there was a clock running that nobody had ever pointed at. That's the moment the question changes on me. It stops being why is my minimum so small, and turns into something bigger, something I can't quite put down once I've thought it. Why does every financial product I own seem to have a carefully chosen minimum? Not just this card, all of them. I start looking. The first one is the student loan, income-driven plan. The payment recalculates every year based on what I make, which sounds fair, which sounds like the system meeting me where I am. What it actually means is the payment is set to exactly what I can survive giving up. Not $1 more, forever, unless I do something about it myself. 2 institutions, never spoken to each other. Same idea, independently. Find the smallest number a person will keep paying without complaining. Set the payment there. Call it the minimum. Call it responsible. The second is the couch. My phone buzzes. The app I used to split it into 4 payments because $2 felt like a lot and $52.50 felt like nothing. Payment 2 of 4 processed successfully, it says, like I accomplished something. I do the math differently this time. Not what I owe, what it cost me to feel okay about owing it. 4 payments of $50 is the exact same $200. The only thing that changed was how small each piece felt going in. Nothing about the debt changed. Something about me did. The third is the hospital bill. There's a payment plan option sitting right there on the portal. $40 a month, no interest. My thumb is already moving toward accept, because $40 sounds like nothing. Then I catch it. Smaller text, underneath the button. Easy to miss if you're already tapping. Estimated payoff date. I stop with my thumb still hovering. I actually count it out, right there. Screen still lit in my hand. This month plus this many more. And I land somewhere past 4 years out. 4 years. For one visit. Sitting one thumb tap away from becoming permanent, printed there like a kindness. By the fourth one, I've stopped being surprised and started keeping a list. The car insurance deductible set at the exact number under which I'd rather just pay out of pocket than ever file a claim. Which is, of course, the entire point of a deductible, except nobody ever says that part out loud. The mortgage statement, which has its own little box, its own minimum due, sitting right next to a much larger, if you'd like to actually own this house sooner number in smaller print underneath it. The utility company auto-enrolled me in the budget billing plan without asking twice. A flat number every month that has nothing to do with what I actually used that month. I stopped counting around the 5th or 6th. Not because I ran out, because I realized I could probably keep going. My own 401k is the one that stings the most, actually, because nobody sent me a box for this one. I set it myself. Employer match caps at 4%, so I set my contribution to exactly 4%, the minimum number that gets me the free money. And I have not touched it since the day I set it 4 years ago while my salary went up twice. I picked my own minimum. Nobody tricked me into that one. I just never asked whether enough to get the match and enough to retire were ever supposed to be the same number. They were never supposed to be the same number. I started wondering somewhere around the 6th list item, sitting there with the calendar still stuck to the fridge behind me. Where else am I living inside numbers somebody else picked for me? Not just the card, not just the loan. Everywhere I'd quietly agreed to let a default stand in for a decision. I realized something uncomfortable, and it's stayed with me since. Nobody has ever sent me a letter that says, "Congratulations, you paid the minimum for 11 years. That's never been the goal. There's no reward for it, no milestone, no confirmation that you did the responsible thing, because it was never designed to be the responsible thing. It was designed to be the thing you'd keep doing without stopping to check." I started calling it the payment that isn't one. It moves through the motions of a payment. It has a due date, a confirmation screen, a little green check mark. It gives you every feeling of progress except the progress itself. I go back through the statement one more time, and this time I run the math I should have run 11 years ago. Not what happens if I keep paying $35. What happens if I pay $35 plus one more? The same size again, doubling it. The 17 years falls off like nothing. Not because I found more money. Because the whole design only works if I never check. The instant I add even a small amount above the floor stops deciding my life for me. I think about the friend who told me, kind of proud, that she always pays something on every card, every bill, every month, never misses. I used to think that was the whole win condition. Now I think she's telling me she found the box, and she's been living inside the exact size somebody else drew for her and calling it discipline. It might be discipline. It's also maybe the wrong target. I'm not going to tell you to pay more than the minimum. You already know that. Everyone already knows that. The same way everyone already knows the couch is the same $210 in 4 pieces. What I didn't know, any worse, What I don't think most of us know until we sit down and actually do the math by hand twice, because the first answer seems impossible, is that the minimum was never a floor we happened to land on. Somebody built it, sized it to exactly what we'd tolerate and no further, and printed it in a box so it would look like the responsible number instead of the designed one. So maybe don't go check your credit card. Go find the other one, the number you set yourself a long time ago and never once asked whether it was ever meant to be enough, or just small enough that you'd stop asking.